Well, the thing is, I told you before that this room was an afterthought. This didn't. This wasn't part of the design of the pub. It came along.
What was it going to be originally? Just
It wasn't going to be part of our purchase. So this was the shop next door,
Right.
which is the same landlord. And during the process of us having already designed the pub, they said to us, "We think this is a bit too small for shop. Do you want to add on to your lease?" And I immediately said yes, without having any clue what we were going to do with it. And at the time, obviously, that was blocked off, so you couldn't get through. So the only way through would have been through there. So we had to work out how to break it through, get fire capacity done on it, and see that we could get it for license, and then make a decision on it. And I just basically said, well, we'll just do it as the back room, and then we'll wing it from there. And actually, when we opened this, the carpet was down, but there was nothing on the wall, and it was just a blank space. And we started with a blank space, and I always wanted to have somewhere where creative people feel comfortable. And that was the baseline. And the second line in it was that I have an obsession with Soho, and particularly the old Colony Rooms.
Old Colony Rooms.
The Colony Room was a club that started in Soho in the 40s or 50s.
Right.
On the first floor of 41A Dean Street, where I coincidentally keep my flat.
Oh, amazing.
And there's a couple of really great books about it and how amazing it was. I mean,
What was so amazing about it?
everybody went there. So basically, the pubs used to close between 3 and 6.
Yeah.
So at 3 o'clock, anyone who wanted to have a drink had to be a member of a club. Colony was one of the most frequented and certainly the most debauched one.
Right.
So there was the Academy, there was Blacks, there was another dozens of clubs in Soho, of which only a couple remain. Colony closed in 2005, but the Colony famously had this green wall, so I copied the green colour from there. And there's photos of who went there. Everybody from Michael Caine to David Bowie to Francis Bacon to Laurence Olivier to all of the Brat Pack to all of the West End actors, Tracy Emin, it must have been a den of chaos. But one of the things that happened there was that the artists of the time, from Bacon to Emin to all of the Damien Hirst, they would donate their art to the Colony in exchange for bar tabs. So they'd be drinking there all the time with this incredible art all over the place. And I didn't set out to have art of that quality, but somehow we've managed to get a few pieces as we went along.
What's mad is I think when I was here last in April, as you said, that is always been ever the same in terms of this little microcosm. The green room is that, because it's like there's way more stuff on here than last time. Like, what would you say is...
We don't own most of it, actually. So when we started off, I asked a few friends, I said, listen, if you've got any art at home that you'd like to lend us. So Scott Collins, owner of Meat Liquor, actually gave us the Fuck 'em All, which was the very first thing to go up.
Yeah.
And actually there's video of the first Irish session here where they're all playing their fiddles around one table. There's not even any furniture in here. The only thing is bare walls and fuck 'em all. And they're all fucking playing away.
That is such a beautiful juxtaposition.
Because it's only a year ago.
Yeah.
You know? And since then, I've asked everybody I know who's got bits and pieces. So, you know, it's amazing what's going on. That's an original Black Lorat there.
So Black Lorat, I don't know that.
So Black Lorat is a French Parisian graffiti artist who started in the 70s in Paris and did an awful lot of stuff that looks like Banksy before Banksy had done it. So he had rats and bits and pieces all over there. Really great artist. And my favorite thing about this is lent to us by a customer by the name of Marcus White, who's a fabulous guy. He obviously bought this for his house. And it's not fitting in his house, is it?
Fucking huge, mate.
So he's gone to me. He's gone to me, mate. You can borrow it if you want. And I've gone, yeah. And actually, when we put it up first, I wasn't sure about it because it's so mental and so big and whatever. But we've grown into it. And what was really interesting was that Black Lorat, who's probably in his 60s now and a lovely French guy, right? He was doing a huge exhibition in London in the summer. It might have been June or July. So the gallery owner got in touch with me and said, I understand you got a black Lorat on display. And we said, yeah. And he said, do you mind if we come down and have a look? They've come down, they loved where he is, and they took a couple of photographs and everything. And about 2 days later, I came in and I noticed that on the right bottom left-hand side is this white rat, which had appeared. So he actually came in and tagged it without us knowing.
The guy? That's
so if you look,
sick.
You see the white rat on the outside, that's on the frame, and it casts a shadow over the
oh my God,
over the picture, which is really cool. But he's also tagged the outside of the pub as well. There's a rat above the window, which you'll see on the outside, which I thought was great.
Yeah. What does that actually like? I know this not to get all fucking arty farty wanky here, but I am really interested in this stuff. Like, what was your mate who passed you like? Why did he buy that big fuck of painting in the first place?
I think you'll have to ask Marcus that.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's got a great symmetry. I think it can be what you want it to be. Obviously, that anonymous mask is in there, which is kind of a recurring theme in current culture at the minute. You've got the whole
when you say that the anonymous mask, that's the thing. I'm going to put this on the screen for people.
Can you see in the middle of the screen?
But how's that relevant now?
I don't know, but it's anonymous is sort of all that anti-Trump thing, all that sort of hacker stuff going on in the background.
Yes.
A guy protecting himself with the big screen. I think you can take any kind of sort of symmetry from society from that. But apart from that, I love the color. I like how it's set up. It's a beautiful piece.
What are some of the other pieces that have really like speak to your soul?
Well, I mean, one of my favorites is this one here, which is a piece done by Ed Sheeran, and I knew that he was doing this art. No, the great big colourful one that looks like Damien Hirst, Jackson Pollock.
Yeah.
So Ed's been, during the pandemic when he wasn't performing, he did loads and loads of art, and I saw that he'd done it, and I said to him, mate, if you've got a spare one, will you drop it in? And fuck me, he came in the side door one day and said, right, that's for you. So we've put it up and he's signed it there. It says, only Guinness in the back room, Ed Sheeran on the thing. Yeah, this one here, the Liam Gallagher one as well, there's a bit of history behind that one because that is by Rob Monday, and Rob Monday's a pretty well-known artist now, and he specialises in holograms and lenticulars, and that was taken in 1997.
Yeah,
and his studio was in the back garden of the pub that I ran at the time, which was the Marlborough in Richmond, and the Gallagher brothers came into the pub on the day they were doing the shoot, and it was all a bit mad at the time, but I actually fell out of contact with Rob for 20 odd years.
How come?
You move on from the pub.
Yeah, sure.
He had family, became quite famous for his art, did his thing. I was always aware that he was there, but we hadn't seen each other. He walked in the pub like 8 months ago and gone, I've got something for you.
That's
there you go.
Sick.
Yeah.
What I find so interesting is how nothing is truly original. Everything is reinvented. And I think you had the idea from this place from, what was it?
The Colony Rooms.
Colony Rooms.
Yeah.
Again, I'm so shit with names, mate. Sorry.
That's
but
all right.
The French guy is an inspiration for Banksy.
Yeah.
I think
it's worth going back to that because Banksy has actually written that everything, no, there's nothing that I've done that Blek Larat hasn't done before. So it's almost an admission that he was more than an inspiration.
Back to the Beatles, obviously people think they're the most inspirational band of all time. There's a fucking brilliant podcast by this bloke up in Stoke, funnily enough, who goes through rock bands and how they create all the songs.
Yeah,
and he'll go through like, I don't know, pick a Beatles song, and he'll say this is what they were listening to, and he listens back to it like, oh my god, they were inspired by those three things.
Yeah.
Added them to get. David Bowie's got a quote which is, the only art I'll ever study is the art I can steal from, which I think's sick because it's just like, whether it's you with the.
I think there's a huge element of truth in that.
Yeah.
That you take the best. I try and take the best of what I've seen elsewhere.
Yeah.
And amalgamate it into the thing that I'm doing.
But I think the hard
if
thing.
I see a really good idea, I'll nick it. Of course I will.
Espressos is sponsored by supply chain software gurus Unleashed. It talks to your e-com and accounting software. It's helped Islands cut admin time in half, get granular clarity on your margins, know where your stock is, don't miss availability. Brands like Candy Kittens, Tiny Rebel and Trip all use Unleashed, and so should you.